I want a Southern accent, but I'll never have one because A, I'm too old, and B, I would need to move.
And I remember telling her, like, yeah, I would meet him, but then nothing ever, like, came of it. And it was, like, a year and a half later that we actually, like, met on eHarmony.
If you were hiking through the woods, would you be more afraid to run into a bear or a rattlesnake?
First of all, if I'm hiking through a woods, something is wrong.
How do I get more leads?
How do I stand out in my market?
Is it unprofessional to talk about my kids on Instagram?
Should I have one account or two?
Do I really need a personal brand as a real estate agent?
We are the Modern Agent Marketing Girls. We are two agents turned marketing experts who believe you can become the go-to real estate girl in your market all because you are you. I'm Chelsea Peterson, founder and CEO of Modern Agent Social Club.
And I'm Kayla Fox, Modern Agent's content creator. Let us be your guide as we talk about what it means to market your real estate business the modern way.
So refill your favorite beverage, open your notes app, and get ready to build a business and a brand you're obsessed with. Let's go.
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome back to another episode of Modern Agent Marketing Girls.
Yes, I'm so excited for this morning's episode. We're kind of switching it up a little bit today.
We are, in both the fact that you said good morning first.
I know. Did it throw anybody else off? I feel like maybe if people aren't actually watching YouTube, this is Kayla talking. Like, I feel like there is some confusion sometimes on who's saying what.
Well, we actually had to restart this because the first time I hit record, Kayla was like, I don't know how to start.
Because you were like, you should say good morning instead of welcome to another episode. And I'm like, oh, wait, I just totally switched roles. And it was like an out-of-body experience. I survived. It was all good.
I love it.
That's awesome. You were just telling me about your book club last night and how you guys switched up a little bit. I want to hear about this.
No, it's a different club.
Oh, it's a different one.
It's a different club. So I meant like it's like a book club. So me and just a few friends started a movie club, and it all started, we did it last Halloween. We decided to do like a scary movie night, and we watched Ready or Not, which, have you seen like the Halloween costume with the girl, and she has the white dress on and it's all like dirty and disheveled, and then she has like that big gun strapped to her and like the thing of bullets. Like, have you seen that?
I don't know
costume?
that I've seen that. I don't know.
It's such a good costume. So Henry's birthday is Halloween, for anyone who's never heard that, and I'm obsessed with Halloween before he was even born. I just love it. So I wanted to do a Halloween movie night, and now this year I want to do a Halloween party and dress in that costume from Ready or Not. But it's a really good scary movie, and it's not too scary. So anyways, that began our movie club, and it wasn't like planned. It just like turned into it. We're like, this is so fun because you don't have to like prepare to come to it. Like, you don't have to have the book read. It's kind of like the Lazy Girl book club, but
yeah,
for movies. So we like do something for dinner or like heavy snacks. Like last time, one of the girls brought really good homemade popcorn. Last night, my friend's husband made us popcorn in their popcorn maker, and we'll do like chocolate snacks, whatever. We actually got Sweetgreen for dinner last night, which was really yummy. But movie club last night was Legally Blonde, and it was at my friend's house, and so she picked the movie. And Legally Blonde was, if anyone remembers me getting very excited about Elle Woods in one of our first episodes, it was my favorite movie ever. But like when she picked it, I was at first kind of like, like I want to watch like something good, but I was reminded how much I still love Legally Blonde.
It's just a classic. Like,
it really shaped my life. I swear. She gave us these pens, which I will be using for further notice. It's so cute. YouTube.
Is it scented?
No, it's not. Okay, so you know the part where she hands in her resume to her professor and it's pink, and then she's like, and it's scented.
Yes.
One of my friends, Ashley, was like, that would never be me doing that. And I'm like, I feel like I could kind of see myself doing that.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you will not forget her resume.
Right. No, it'll stand out for sure.
So there were just so many movie moments, of course, that brought to mind personal branding, because the whole entire movie, she stands out with, like, she has her dog in her purse and she has her orange MacBook. Like, that's one of my favorite scenes, is when she like is getting all serious and she goes to get the orange MacBook laptop. And like, just like she has her heart notebook and everyone else has a laptop in the classroom. It's just like the best. Yeah. And I'm like, but why would you want to be any of the other people there? Like,
right.
I want to be her. I want to wear the pink. I want to be myself and stand out. I don't want to be the boring sea of gray, which is what we're all about. So It was like perfect timing to watch that movie before today's episode, because do you want to tell our friends what today is all about?
Okay, so today we just kind of were thinking I think this is episode 15 now, and just about how a lot of our listeners that we have been hearing from in our DMs and whatnot are still a little bit unfamiliar about who we are. And we don't want to do like a whole episode where we just like interview each other because that's kind of boring, but we still want it to be like beneficial for our listeners. But we just thought we could do something especially because like we're so all about like the lifestyle of modern agents, and we're so about like sharing behind the scenes and like sprinkling in real estate. And so that's kind of what today's episode is for us. It's more lifestyle, but it's going to be sprinkling in some marketing and some of our deep thoughts. So first of all, I don't know. I feel like this needs to be said just because my mom actually listened to one of our first podcast episodes, and my own mother told me, your guys' voices sound the same. She was
really?
like, yes. And I was like, you know me. And she's like, I know, but you guys sound similar. And so I thought the only way that I can really tell people the difference, besides like us just saying each other's names, which I feel like we say our names throughout the podcast episodes a lot, but the way that we say tag is totally different. So I'm an Indiana girl, and when I talk about being tagged on Instagram, I say tag. But how do you say it?
Tag.
Now
I'm not going to say it right because I'm overthinking it.
You say it like there's
Tag
an
me on
E
Instagram.
in it.
Tag me on Instagram.
Tag me.
Tag
Tag me.
me. I really want to change my voice to be...
You need to change your voice.
I want a Southern accent, but I'll never have one because
Yes.
A, I'm too old, and B, I would need to move. But
that's so funny. Years ago when I did all of like my coach's wife stuff that I did, I had so many like Texas football wives that I got to know, and all of them say y'all. And I don't know, I just started saying it and just pretending that I was just like them. And now I say it all the time, and I'm like, I am not from the South. But
well, I think Indiana and Iowa, my dad and his whole side of the family, they have like a really subtle hint of a Southern accent.
Yeah.
Like my dad even did. And I'm like, I love all of their voice, like how they talk. And I'm like, if only we lived in Iowa, I would have that little like vibe.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, first of all, I feel like we talk about this a lot, but what are you currently reading, Chelsea?
I always read way too many books at a time, and it's because I'll read on my Kindle before bed or like in the car, not when I'm driving, but when Mark's driving, obviously. And then I'll have like a book, and then I'll have a business book. So I'll give you my rundown. I'm
Let's
reading
hear it.
Frozen River.
Someone just told me about this book.
Really?
Yes.
So my friend Jessica Garvin is in a book club, and she always posts what they read, and they read this and she gave it 5 stars. And a lot of the books she rates, we have a similar book taste. So I started it. It's really good. It's definitely different. I don't even know how to explain it. Just look it up. It's Maine 1789.
Yes.
So it's like old, but I kind of like books like that. So I feel like it's really my vibe more than anyone would probably guess. But I'm reading that, and then I'm currently reading Rebecca Yarros in the Likely Event. And I don't know why I'm reading this, because they get in a plane crash in the beginning, which it says on the book cover. I'm not giving anything away. They survive, but we're flying next Thursday. And I'm like, what? There's so many weird things happening right now. And I'm just like, why am I reading this? So I'm going to pause that, and I'm going to start Fourth Wing for our trip, because I've been wanting to read it for so long, and I feel like I just need to commit. So that's what I'm starting.
Okay, is that the one that's a part of like a whole series?
Well, actually, funnily enough, Rebecca Yarros, who writes like these like romance books and in the Likely Event, she wrote Fourth Wing, and it's a completely different genre than what she normally writes. So it's like fantasy.
I just don't know if I'm a person who could ever actually get into fantasy.
Well, that's what I thought about myself, and I've avoided this for so long. But then I'm like, I read all the Twilight books and was obsessed. I read all the Hunger Games and I was obsessed. And that's really it. Like, I've never gone into those worlds beyond those 2 really popular ones. But I'm like, you know how like sometimes like the hidden gem things aren't the most popular, and obviously Fourth Wing is popular. But like, I'm probably missing out on so many amazing books because I have only read like the 2 hit series. You know, you like Harry Potter.
No, I've never read Harry
Oh,
Potter.
yeah, that's right. You haven't.
I would love I put it on my list of things I wanted to do over Christmas break, and then I was like, we're leaving on vacation. I'm not going to have time to do this because when you go on vacation with 4 kids, it's not vacation. So, yeah, no, that is really interesting. I just heard about Frozen River too, though. I just put that on my list, so that's funny. Okay, so this episode's coming out in April. So if you're listening to this in real time, I'm probably currently reading Abby Jimenez's newest book, Say You'll Remember Me. am so eager for that one to come out. I just love she balances like such serious, heavy topics with so much humor that like you literally laugh out loud and cry all at the same time. But
I read all of her books last summer because of you.
they're so good, aren't they?
They're really good.
Yes.
My favorite, I think, was Just for the Summer.
Yes, that was her
She lived
newest
on, like,
one.
that island she had to take the boat to every
Yes.
time, and then I love that one.
Yeah, and then she does like short stories once in a while. So she actually just released a short story through Kindle Unlimited called The Fall Risk, and it's literally like it takes you maybe an hour and a half to read max. And so yeah, that one was super cute. I actually wrote on her Instagram about it because I like want her to know who I am. I want to be her friend. Just like you're friends with Jessica Garvin, I'm friends with Abby Jimenez. But I put like, thank you for giving us kids a snack before the meal because we were getting hangry because I felt like the new book coming out is like the big meal that we've all been like hungry for. But we got just a little taste of something to hold us over.
That's such a cute way to describe it. I love it.
Yes. So that one's really good. But then I'm also reading The Unplugged Hours right now. And it's so funny when I read like books like this, that's by Hannah Brencher. When I read books like that, I can go through like one of Abby's books in like 2 days. Like I just like soar right through it. But these, I'm like, I want this to change my life. Like I want this to like change my soul. And so I like take my time going through it. And I really do like one chapter at a time. And sometimes I'll like even let it sit for a few days before I pick it up again because I'm like thinking about it all the time. So
I feel like you have to because it's almost like a workbook. I'm reading a book like that too. It's called You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay.
Yeah.
It's like older, but it's like, how do they describe it? It has transformed the lives of millions of people, a book that people credit with profoundly altering their awareness of the impact that the mind has on health and well-being. What I love about this is like I have the audio version too, and when I was listening to it, she like tells you, I want you to like what you just said, basically go through the chapter and like really sink it in. Let it sink in, let it sit with you. Don't just try to like bust through the whole book in one sitting. Like almost like take a break in between each chapter to like do whatever she recommends and then like really let it like become you. So, and I think about that honestly with, what we teach at Modern Agent, for example, like take each little piece and really let it sink in and absorb it. And don't try to just like, I think sometimes people will go through like the training piece and they'll be like, okay, I did it. And I'm like, but did you do it?
Right.
Like, is it working in your life? Like, are you actually making it a practice now? Or did you just listen to a couple of modules and say that you check marked it off? So I think with books like that, with anything that you're spending your time and trying to change your life through, you have to really like let it sink in. So
yeah. Yep. I totally agree. On that note, what are you listening to right now?
I feel like I'm in my feminine era. Maybe this is what this means because I'm very into my girly girl kind of podcast, like Giggly Squad. I'm listening. I always love Skinny Confidential, which that's not necessarily girly. It's her and her husband, but I love Lauren Bostic and if you want to get inspired by how to sell something or like write an ad or share your love of something and have people actually like be like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited too. She is so good at that. So I love listening to Skinny Confidential for that reason. I also love Life's a Trip podcast. It's with Shannon Tripp. She was an emergency room doctor and now she is basically like a mom who teaches other moms how to feel at peace with motherhood as far as like not being worried and stressed out about every little thing. Like she has a course called Mastering Medical Emergencies that I have, and it's all the different things like burns, stomach issues, like, and basically
That's
when you go into an
interesting.
emergency. She was like,
Yeah.
95% of things are not emergencies. So like instead of being always paranoid and freaked out about every little thing with your kids, which is very me,
Mm-hmm.
this has really helped me. Like I look at it all the time. My niece even like burned her hand on a candle and I like instantly pulled it up. I'm like, here's what to do for the burn. And so it's really,
Yeah.
really helpful. So I love their podcast too. Her husband is hilarious.
That's so interesting. I was just reading a book with Levi last night. It was called Stella's Starlight or something, or Stella by Starlight or something. And it's a book back in like later or earlier in the 1900s. But a girl, she comes home from school and sees that her mom was bit by a snake. And she has to like figure out what to do and all of that stuff. But Levi was like, I don't know what I would do. He's so like
Me
serious
neither.
when we read things like that. But I'm like, man, this got really intense really fast. But the book, I mean, it was a good book for sure. Definitely like
I have a
challenge your
side
thinking.
question.
Yeah.
If you were hiking through the woods, would you be more afraid to run into a bear or a rattlesnake?
First of all, if I'm hiking through a woods, something is wrong. I mean, I like a good like trail just to be outside a little bit, but I'm not just out there hiking in the woods. A bear or a rattlesnake, I feel like I would probably be more scared of a rattlesnake.
Oh my gosh. Maybe I don't know how fast they are, but I would like if I saw a bear in the woods, I feel like my heart would just be like hammering through my chest. I'd probably have a heart attack and die because like I wouldn't know what to do. I feel like if you see a rattlesnake, like I don't want to see one, but can't you outrun it?
I mean, possibly, but also I think you have to be a lot closer to a rattlesnake to see it. Unlike a bear, I think you can see a bear from farther away. I also have actually seen several bears in woods before because we like to go to Tennessee and we'll like, I mean, it's like driving through places, right? But you can get out and like see cubs and stuff. And like my theory, I guess, is if they don't feel threatened, they're not just going to chase you to eat you. Like, where a snake, I feel like, I mean, snakes are just gross and terrifying. My husband loves watching, oh gosh, is it Swamp People? Or what's the one where they catch snakes? It's down in Florida, how all these like pythons have gone everywhere. It's like, it's so ridiculous. He's real into it, okay? But he, it really freaks me out, especially if we watch it before bed. I'm like, can we turn on Friends now? Because now all I think about is snakes like crawling all over me. So,
yeah.
it's really bad.
I'm watching White Lotus right now, and there was like an episode, like snakes are part of it, which is very like this whole, parallel to like the storyline apparently. And I listened to another podcast I'm listening to is the Betches podcast, does a White Lotus recap episode every week. And I literally couldn't watch like the whole episode 4 or 3, I think it was, because there was this really long snake scene. So I'm like, I don't even know what happened in this episode because I'm not watching that before I go to bed.
No, it's really disturbing. As a kid, did you ever have a...
Wait, what are you listening to? You didn't tell us yours.
I didn't listen?
I didn't listen.
Gosh, I
You
didn't
did not
listen.
listen to the question.
What am I listening to? I really like the I Mom So Hard podcast. I think that they're funny. I can't listen to it when I'm with my kids. I guess I don't listen to most podcasts, I guess, when I'm with my kids. But that one's really fun. And then it's so funny, like I'm not like a pop culture person really at all, but every once in a while I like tuning into like pop apologists just because they're kind of funny. I usually do it based off of like basically whether or not they're talking about Taylor Swift, because I'll listen to that. And then I'm pulling up my podcast here. What else have I been listening to?
We listen to a lot of business podcasts too.
Yeah. School of Sales, I really like. The Inspired Media podcast. She's good to listen to. Yeah, and then like I still listen to The Office Ladies. I'm like way behind on all the episodes. I'm like a year behind, but I love listening to like behind the scenes of what they are, like what happened in the episodes and all of that. I think that's just so like entertaining. So
what would be your marketing takeaway from this question or this statement? Like I am obsessed with it, and clearly a lot of people are obsessed with podcasts that recap a reality show. So like I watch the reality show, whatever it is, and then I want to listen to the podcast where they talk about it. Like,
yeah.
Why?
I know. I have said before that I want us to start a spinoff podcast where we just break down Friends episodes. And I think if we made it really good, we could actually get them to come on our show and we could interview them. But I'm like, I just think it'd be so interesting to really like go back and know all the nitty gritty behind what was happening behind the scenes. I think it's fascinating.
That would be my dream. There is one that does that because I like searched one day and I'm like, I bet because the Office Ladies ones or what are they called? The Office
Office
Ladies?
Ladies, yeah.
Office Ladies. I saw that, or after I saw that, I'm like, there has to be a Friends one. It never really went anywhere. But
I
I'm
was
like,
gonna say, is it any good? Like, I feel like you could do it, and then it's just kind of boring, or it's just like I feel like you'd have to like get in inboxes of people who are there and be like, tell me what actually happened, but instead of just like Googling information. Like whenever they do like, did you know this crazy fact about the show? I'm like, yeah, like who hasn't known that? Like I'm so not impressed. But the show's been around forever, so.
There's a Gilmore Girls one too. That one's pretty popular. Like they have a private podcast even, and they went on tour. So I'm like, I don't know what it is. I kind of think it comes back to two things: the personality behind who's hosting the show. And if you're only talking about the episode and no one really gets to know you, I feel like it feels there's almost like a missing piece. Like, okay, but why would I want to listen to some random person? They have to like want to listen to you talk about it. And how do you become that right person? I don't, it just, who gravitates towards you. And then the second would be like who else you do the podcast with. So I think it'd be really boring if a single person did a recap Friends podcast. But the one I listened to that I found, it was like 3 people, and it was like, and I know the Office Ladies is, I think 2, isn't it? 3?
It's the 2 of them, yeah.
Oh, it's 2. Okay. Well, this one had 3 people, and I thought it was like too much. Like, I don't know. It's like a fine line, and like, do the people like, do they like you? I don't know. Like that's one part of the whole, the personal approach to marketing and putting your personality into things. I think the more authentic you are to yourself is when people like it. So it's not like you have to be cool or like, oh my gosh, I'm not pretty enough, or I'm not funny enough, or I'm not smart enough, or like, I don't think that's a thing. I think when you are truly yourself in whatever that is, your people will like it because they're gonna be like, I like that stuff too. And I agree. And we like to listen to things that we like see ourselves in. Like I love listening to certain reality podcasts because they also like the show I like. So I don't really know what it is, but it's like, just be true to who you are. And so if someone really loves Friends and wants to talk about it and break it down, I think it would be interesting, but it has to be like the right fit. I don't know.
Well, and people, I mean, everybody has a camera and everyone can record themselves. That's like all we consume are people going like behind the scenes of their life. We can sniff out bogus things, or just like even, which this is one of the questions, we can actually get into it now if you want to. One of the questions I put was like, what trend are you really sick of on Instagram right now? And my answer is like, just the fact that everybody's doing the exact same thing. And like, it's one thing if there's something that's trending and you put your own twist on it, but even at that, like anymore, I'm like, do like the opposite. Like, don't just put a real estate twist on it, but if it's something like right now, the trend is like what my 80-year-old self told my 37-year-old self today. And I'm like, how about instead you like write a letter to your 80-year-old self and be like, I'm trying like, something that's just a little bit different instead of literally everyone. And because I think what drives me nuts about it is everybody does these trends, but then they act as if it was their idea. Like they act as if I came up with this brilliant thing. And it's like, you're literally saying the exact same thing as everybody else. And it's just like swipe, swipe, swipe. Like I'm over it.
It doesn't make me care about you. I'm like, oh, another one. Oh, another one.
Yeah.
There was this trend on TikTok when that David Beckham show came out, and there was like a scene where him and Victoria Beckham like danced in the kitchen. I didn't even watch the show, but I went on TikTok one day and my algorithm must not be tuned into what I want to see. That's all I saw was like that same thing reiterated by like 50 different people. And I'm like, this is a terrible app. Why is it showing me this? And it's probably because I watched like one of them all the way through that it was like, here you go. But yeah, I don't get it. I'm like, it doesn't lean into your personality. You're literally like, you're like reenacting a scene from a movie over like, but a million different people are doing it. Like, but why? Like, why would anyone want to watch that? Like, you have to put your own spin and your own personality on it. And that's why I hate trends. And sometimes I like them. Sometimes it feels like that one's kind of fun, or like that one feels like me. There was that one, like I had coffee with my younger self. And I think there was a way that you could spin it that made sense. You could kind of use it as like where I started and where I am now, and how would that help the people consuming this? Or like, how does that paint the picture of like how you relate to your audience or something like that? But I like didn't end up doing it because then by the time I saw it 98 times, I was like, okay, I'm over this. Like, I don't want to see it again.
Yep. Exactly. No, I think people should think of it. I don't know if I said this. Did it ever make it into the 2025 marketing predictions? But I think I was talking about how the whole idea of just like using trending audio, not so much just like a song, but the trending audio where you're like lip syncing what they're doing. I'm like, we're just over it. Even if it's funny, like there are ones that I hear that I'm like, ooh, that's a funny one, or that's a good one, or I could do it like this. But like the truth is, everybody's doing it and everyone's saying it. And yes, the text on the screen might be different, but like it just gets tired really fast. So I'm like, that's why I love like how we create content for Modern Agent Social Club, because I feel like it's all about, here's this, like put your spin on it. And like here, and then we give them lots of direction. Like we'll give them like, here's different B-rolls you can take, or here's different ways you can say this or whatever. But like, make it look as if you came up with this idea all on your own and like nobody else is doing it. Because when you make it yourself and from your perspective and about your town, no one can copy you. You're completely uncopyable at that point, and that makes you a thought leader in the industry of real estate.
I think the reason we don't like that stuff is it feels very surface level. It doesn't really let you in to get to know the person or what's different about you than like the other 58 people who did that in my same explore feed, right? Like maybe we should get into the question of like what you have in your saved folder right now, or that you've saved recently, because I think that kind of flips that on its head of like, okay, what is something we want to consume, or what is something that we're really loving right now?
Yeah.
I have this saved, and this is definitely, it's still considered a trend to me, but I love them. And we've been doing these on our account. So the cheese gal I love the cheese gal. She did this and a wine stem so thin it could break from a gentle breeze. And I'm all about like, I want a super thin wine glass that is so easy to break, because I need like, it just makes it better. Yeah. The other one she did was this clean sheets and 2 episodes of White Lotus, and it's like her cozy bedroom bed.
Yeah.
Like I love these because you like swipe and then you like find the one that's you. And I just think they're so fun.
Yep, I totally agree. We've been posting things like that on our Modern Agent account too, and they've been like blowing up. But it's like when you see yourself in someone else's content, you're gonna either share it, like it, or engage with it, or send it to a friend or whatever. Like you can't help but send it to somebody or save it. Actually, I should look through my text messages and see the last thing that I've sent to people, because I feel like that will tell you a lot about who I am as a person. But yeah, like it's nuts how it is that simple. And sometimes I think like when we're talking about marketing and when we're saying, oh, just do this, or like just make local content like this, it feels too easy. I think agents sometimes think like, but I need to include how the market's doing, or I need to include all the local events for the weekend or whatever. But it's like, no, like that little like bite-sized piece of content. In fact, I just had this whole rant. I'm going to go on a rant for a second here, okay? Instagram. I was thinking the other day about how it's called Instagram. And yes, the idea of gram is like a quick little photo, right? But it's not Insta client. It's not Insta story. It's not Insta sale, Insta closing, like an Instagram. And when you really think about like what a gram is, I actually looked it up. A gram it's like a dollar bill weighs a gram. Okay. And yes, bear with me. I know $100 bill weighs the same.
I was just going to say that and be super annoying. And I'm like, no, I won't.
No, I'm aware of that. But I have a theory about this. Okay. So if a dollar bill weighs a gram, a dollar bill is not going to get you very far. But over time, adding up a dollar bill a day, it's going to add up, right? But I also think when you use our marketing and when you use like strategies that are much more user friendly, that dollar bill suddenly is like $100 bill instead. It's going to weigh the same. It's still going to be bite-sized, but there's going to be a lot more like impact with every piece of content you put out there, whether it's like your story, your post, your reel, your emails, anything, even like the way that you respond in your DMs. Like those are all like little grams and they add up. And I think that when people start treating themselves like a modern agent marketer, then that dollar bill suddenly becomes a 20 and a 50 and 100. And it's the impact and the buildup is so much more significant that it ends up making like a huge impact. But I feel like we tried to throw $100 or 100-pound weights at people with every post that we're doing. Like, because our thing is like, we want to add value. Like we want to prove that we know what we're talking about. But it's like, no. Like pull it back $1 at a time, then make it a 10. And then as you get better, it's going to be a 20, that kind of thing. I think it adds up and makes a big difference. That's my rant. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
I absolutely love that. I think part of that is we discount that our followers are actual human beings that we build relationships with. If you can do if I could tell you the most important thing you could ever do on social media, you need to build a community. Because if you don't have a community, you're not going to have the results. People need to care about what it is you're doing. And the only way for that to happen is for them to know you. They have to get to know you first. You have to do things for your community. So Instagram, we always say this, it can't be a billboard place to plant your sales pitches, because that's not building a community. That's all about you. But when you make it about them and you invite them into this conversation and it feels like a community that they want to be a part of, and it's so, when you think of that, what makes it so easy in my brain with that is when you have a local business, it's so much easier to do because you already have a community you live in, and you can use that to kind of build your own community within it, right? And you think about if you would get together with a bunch of friends in your community to do a specific thing, maybe you all love reading and you start a book club together. Maybe you all love cooking and you get together and try new recipes, or you do cookie baking or whatever. There are these little bubbles of things you are meeting people to do things you love with. That's kind of how you think about your Instagram. And maybe no, it's not all about reading or cooking, but that's the connection piece that happens first. And then you get these people that are invested in you, but you're the agent who's doing it. You're the agent who whatever. It's no different than if it's just a lot more impactful if you sponsor your son's baseball team. So your name or your brokerage name goes on their jerseys. You're being part of your community and you're investing into it. But that almost even to me feels more I'm clearly doing this to get something out of it. Whereas doing it on Instagram, you're building relationships. You're connecting with other human beings and having these conversations. And then you're learning okay, what are their needs when it comes to real estate? Are they just dying for more closet space? They can't stand the lack of organization. And then you can lean into that in your messaging and what you're saying. And I don't know how I got into messaging from this, but does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. It makes me think of this too. The other thing I'm really tired of seeing, and I do think we're seeing less of it, but especially on TikTok, there are always creators who are doing something really big. They are getting behind a woman in the grocery store who's buying 2 carts full of groceries, and then they just go to pay for it. But they record it and put a camera in their face. Or they're giving a meal to a homeless person, but the camera's right there and getting this reaction. And
that is the most icky thing I've ever heard of. I haven't seen that.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I feel I see it all the time. And part of it is kind of cool because you watch these people be oh my gosh, are you doing this for me? Really? But then it's also put the freaking camera down. What are you doing? And so that's what I think is important, that there's a big balance between documenting things to show on Instagram. So if if you're providing snacks for your son's baseball team or whatever, it's one thing to document it because you're the mom of a player on the team and whatever. I don't necessarily think that I would be as a real estate agent in my city, this is what I did, or our team. I think that you should be sponsoring things. I think you should be supporting different organizations and those kind of things, especially as a business owner. But my theory is this: do so many nice things in real life where you are out there serving, not on Instagram, but in real life where you actually serving and rubbing shoulders with people, that when you get on Instagram, your people do the talking for you. By then you've created a community.
Exactly what I was going to say.
Yes. Let them brag you up. Let them say, oh my gosh, she just did whatever. And if anyone ever attacks you or accuses you of something, you're going to have a whole community of people being that's not who she is,
I mean, if you host a really fun community event for or not a community event, let's say it's for your kid's baseball team. Don't you document it and say, look what I did for them. Let the people coming, and maybe they don't expect it, but they're going to, even if they don't put it on Instagram, they're probably going to tell someone.
Yes. And I don't necessarily think that you can't document it. I think it's okay to be I know one time, I took coffees to all the kindergarten teachers at my kid's school just because, to be nice. And I took a picture of it and I was I love our teachers. But it wasn't I am the community real estate agent, and I am doing, like, I support our local community by doing this. It was just like,
And did
oh
you
my
put
gosh.
did you put your business card on each one?
No, I just said, like, I love what you do for our kids, and thank you for putting up with mine. The end.
I always see this question asked, actually, and I'm not into the school age yet, but like I'll see people say like, oh, my daughter's in school. What can I do so that the teachers know I sell real estate? And I'm like, be present,
right?
Like go to
volunteer
the school,
on a field trip. And then when they say, what do? You say, I'm a real estate agent.
Do not hand them any kind of anything to do with real estate. Do not give them any kind of business card. Like, I don't care what industry it is. Like, it's icky. It's like equivalent to someone knocking on the door of my house right now. Like this is so funny. My next door neighbor is like our neighborhood watchdog, and I love it. She always knows if there's like a car in this neighborhood that doesn't belong. Who is that? So like there's this Mustang, and we are out because we have our babysitter once a week. And so she's here, and my neighbor's texting me, is that car at your house? And I'm like, well, I hope not, because we have a babysitter and I hope she doesn't have someone over. And so my heart dropped for a second. And then she was like, oh, never mind. So-and-so said they're selling blah, 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 solar panels. And I'm like, okay. So I text my babysitter, and she's like, oh, he was here. He was saying something about they're checking the meters. And I'm like, well, now this story isn't adding up, because they told someone else they're selling solar panels.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's creepy. But like, you don't, and this is a totally different story compared to giving a teacher your business card. But it's kind of that same vibe. Like, why are you giving this to me? Who are you?
Yeah.
I didn't even say I needed anything to help with real estate. Like, you just need to be human and be there, and they will know and learn what you do.
Like, can you imagine sitting down at like your kid's basketball game and sitting next to some parents and just talking to them, and having like a painter hand you his card, or having a nutritionist be like, here's my card. Especially if you didn't, it'd be one thing if you brought it up and you were like, oh, what do you think about this? Or like you start asking those questions, like natural conversations, but just for them to be like, well, this is what I have to do as, this occupation. No one else does that. And I honestly, I'm going to give our listeners a ton of credit. I don't think our listeners do that either. No. I think our listeners, the reason that they listen is because they don't want to be that way either.
Right.
But it's just, I just want this message to get out to all the agents that I'm like, please don't. Like, and because they're probably not actually icky people, but they come across that way because of the way that they think they have to market themselves.
Or because of an idea they heard from another agent or group or their broker or whoever it is. Like, those ideas do float around, and some of the things I see, I'm like, oh my gosh, what was the one where you put like a sign in your yard? What was that?
Well, they have like, your neighborhood realtor lives here, like signs like that. I mean, first of all, like, my husband's a teacher and a coach. First of all, I'm sure everybody already knows where we live, but also I would never advertise like the football coach lives here, because we would probably just get egged or something after a game. But like, yeah, no one else does that. Like, I'm thinking about all the occupations of people who live on my street, and they're not putting ear, nose, and throat specialist lives here.
Well, I think we have to remember that this goes back to, no one's going to hire you just because you sell real estate, just because you have that title or that job. Like, so does everyone else. So does everyone else can do marketing or branding or all of the things. Like, that's not the reason. They're going to hire you because they like you and they trust you. And that's like our core thing. Like, if they don't like you and trust you, they're not going to hire you. It doesn't matter. And yes, we don't want it to be like a secret that you're an agent, but they're going to know you're an agent because you are like in real life with them. You are in community with them. You go to the neighborhood events. Like, the things that I did in my old neighborhood, I did one thing that was kind of cringy. And it really wasn't.
None of us are perfect.
No, it was my first year as an agent, and I got, one of our friends has a kettle corn business, and I stuffed like bags of kettle corn and put like these ribbons around it and like a Merry Christmas tag, and on the back of it said like your neighborhood realtor or something. And I delivered it to every single house in our neighborhood. We had 68 houses in that subdivision. And
I don't think that's cringy.
I had so many people text me like, oh my God, this popcorn is amazing. Yes. Where did you get it? Blah, blah, blah. There's a home inspector that I ended up meeting in that neighborhood who I used for the rest of my career. So like I met people, but like looking back, I'm like, well, I did like put my phone number on that, which is kind of cringy. But
Okay, but you also gave them something. I mean, to me, that's kind of like, that'd be like my husband giving all the neighborhood kids like a mini football. Like, that's not him saying, like, I'm a great coach, like, come to my games. He's just saying, like, this is something that I love and I think you might like it too. I don't think that's cringy. I think
But
that there
what
are ways
else
that
I
you can go
did-
about it that are, but
For sure. The other thing I did with it that I was gonna say, and then I remembered I did that. We hosted the neighborhood Christmas party 2 years in a row. I went to everything. Like some girl hosted a Wild Tree party. Do you remember Wild Tree, the freezer meals?
no.
You like make freezer meal. I don't know. I went to
Yeah.
that. I went to like the jewelry party, and like that's when those things were so popular.
Yeah.
I like did all that, and I supported everyone in the neighborhood. But I never once was like, "Who do you know looking to buy or sell?"
Right.
Like not a single time. It was just
No.
like, "I'm here, and you're gonna know who I am." And when you need real estate, you know that. Like
Yeah,
it
you're
wasn't
gonna
me
think of
pushing
me.
it. I had no agenda.
Exactly.
Another thing I've really liked on Instagram, going back to that topic on a more positive note,
Yeah.
after our
After our TED
tangent
Talk.
and TED Talks, I just love a good carousel post. Who is the company that you sent me that they do like B-roll shoots for you?
Oh, yeah. They are called Seventh House Marketing.
Seventh House Marketing. They just have so many carousel posts that I'm like obsessed with swiping through. And it's like, I think it's just the variety. It's just they're fun to look at. I'll kind of go through one as an example.
Yeah.
Like they have one and it's things that happen this month at our female-owned marketing agency. And it's a cake shaped like a heart that says Seventh House Marketing, which by the way, I'm getting a cake for our next photo shoot.
I can't wait.
I think they're so cute. Like a homeowner one or like, I don't know.
Yes.
The next one is new all-female real estate brokerage client. The energy in this room was heart. And it's like a little video clip. Then they have one channeling Pilates princess energy of our new client shoot, and they're at a Pilates class. Sneak peek of our new diamond client, jaw drop, no notes. It's someone holding a martini with diamonds. Big client meeting because we're headed to our first travel shoot. Eep. See you next week, Austin. I don't know. It's just like it's a peek behind the scenes, but it's fun to consume. It's very short blurbs of text. It gives you like their vibe without them telling you like this is our vibe. Like you just naturally see it. And I think it's just fun to look at stuff like that. The other thing they had that I love is they have a March trend report and it's called On the House, which I love. I've always thought about using that for our email list name,
Yeah,
like
it's cute.
On the House. I think it's really cute, or for like freebies. But they go through like trending sounds. They go through marketing we love. And this is funny because we just said we don't love trends, but it's all the trends. And it's just fun to scroll through again, like find one that you like and then implement it. And it matches up what they're doing. So like, I think it'd be cool as an agent to do like a trend report for like home design stuff and like show me like what are people loving this year or this month, or how to use that color in your home, or like, fun things like that.
It's funny enough, I used some of their posts as examples for some of the content this last month for agents because I'm like,
Oh,
no,
really?
Make something like this and make it for real estate.
I love that. Another one I'm loving is Mackenzie Bell. I think it's her last name, Mackenzie Huntley or Mackenzie Bell. She got married. She is doing a series, Wake Up at 5 a.m. with me. So she's getting up at 5 a.m. every day and filming and then kind of doing a voiceover with it, talking through like, like for example, after 5 days of this, it's finally feeling easier. Or like she dunks her face like in an ice bowl, like one of the day, or ice water one of the days. So like she's kind of bringing you on her journey. So instead of just saying like, I'm waking up at 5 a.m. now, she's like making it a part of her content, and it makes it fun to follow along.
Yeah. We need to do a whole episode on like journey style content because there's so many things, like there's so many opportunities in our daily life of things that we think are like not interesting, but with just like the right hook and with just a little bit of like a direction, you could turn something so ordinary in your life into this series that people like can't help but consume and can't help but like click follow to learn more. So I love
I know, and that kind of also goes hand in hand with like signature series, which we could talk about for a long time too.
Yes. Well, hey, that's a good question. If you were still a full-time agent, what would your signature series be?
Oh my gosh, so many. I would probably do like one a month. So a couple of things that I would love if I had to like scale it back right now. I love wine and infusing that into the brand. I love local and I love homebody vibes, like Nancy Meyers style stuff. So I could see myself kind of rotating through those. Like I maybe would do like a local series, and then I would do, I don't know, like a happy hour style series that I don't know what I would share, but I would pair that with something real estate related.
Yeah.
Or something local. Like maybe my series would be something to do with happy hour, but then I would kind of rotate through like a local spot, a home feature I'm loving, a homebody, something like kind of like Lauren Bostic vibes, but like whatever the topic is. What about you?
I love that so much. Well, we did one recently for Modern Agent that said, when I say I'm obsessed with our town, so I would say Columbia City, this is what I mean. And you could turn that so many different ways. Like I know like in the fall, it would be nothing but like football content with us going to my husband's games. But then like, yeah, other times of the year, it's just like going on a walk with our neighborhood. All of my best friends, all that live here, literally all live in our neighborhood. And so like I laugh all the time. I feel like my life is like Friends, where you open your apartment door and your friend's right there. Like I can literally see some of their houses right now. And so I feel like I would like talk about that, or like just going to like restaurants or walking into a grocery store and like seeing people that you know, like just documenting those little things I feel like would be so easy. But then I also think about being a mom of 4 kids. I think people are like curious about that. And I think like something like things that people would probably be interested in would be like what you're making for dinner or like dinner time kind of things. But again, for me, when my kids are home, I don't really want to put like cameras up all over the house and like document everything, especially because I mean, they've got friends inside that house all the time and like running in and out all the time. So I just wouldn't want to do that. But I feel like I could do something to do with laundry. Like I actually romanticize my whole laundry routine because that's all I do is laundry. But I will purposely like one day, like I was yesterday, I will literally all day long just like stay on top of the laundry and like pump it all out, and I throw it all on my bed. And then once the kids are like home and outside and doing whatever, I will like turn on a show and or like listen to a podcast or something, and I close my bedroom door. Yesterday I cracked open the window because it was so nice out, and I just like bust through it all, and I don't stop until like every single thing is put away. I'm treating it more like me time instead of this awful chore. But I feel like if I was a real estate agent, I'd probably use that time to be like, okay, this is what's happening, or like this house that I saw had this feature or whatever. I would try to like sprinkle that in as I was doing the laundry because I'm going to be doing it anyway.
I love romanticizing everything. That would be another really good one. I would probably give every listing that I had a wine pairing or something fun.
Yes,
like,
yeah.
If this house was a wine, here's what it would be, and then like a whole description on it. We went out to eat for our date night, and the menu, which I don't see this very often, but sometimes, and I love it, in the wine list, they had like what each, like for the glasses, like the glass of white, the glass of red, like what they all paired with. So it was like, pair this with the blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, I love when they do that. Because instead of me trying to analyze, like, I don't necessarily follow the whole like, oh, drink white with fish and drink red with steak. Like I kind of just drink what I feel like drinking. But I'm like, but it kind of gives you some direction on like, which one should I have with the burger? Or like, so I think it'd be fun to just put a spin on that for like real estate. And I think it'd be really fun to consume that style content too and create it.
For sure. I love
And then
that.
like, which room would I drink the wine in? Then I'd go like let's go into the house.
I love that. Okay. If your life was a rom-com, what movie would it most resemble?
I would have to say, I feel like it's Miss Congeniality where they're answering the questions on stage. I would have to say
April 25th.
The Holiday, mostly because I just love the idea of like a cozy home, slow mornings. I love travel. I just love like the combination of all of those things. Like, and it's kind of like, I don't know, it has all those vibes in it. Like the fireplace is lit, I'm drinking the wine, like the music is on, like and I'm picturing the London house when I say that. But then I would actually want to live in the California house, but I'm vacationing over there.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
What about you?
That's very you. I love that. I would probably say You've Got Mail, because my husband and I met on eHarmony, and we like emailed each other back and forth several times a day for like 2 weeks, just like nonstop. And I felt like literally by the time that I met him, I knew everything about him. And what was funny is, you know how like in the movie, like Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks's characters actually already knew each other. We did not actually know each other, but a friend of mine had met him like a year prior, and she actually told me one time, ironically, at a football game, she had said, I met this guy and I feel like he's totally your type and you should meet him. And she actually like pulled up his Facebook profile and everything. And I remember telling her like, yeah, I would meet him, but then nothing ever like came of it. And it was like a year and a half later that we actually like met on eHarmony.
Oh my gosh, that is crazy.
Isn't that
actually
so funny?
That's so cool.
It made it all so much easier because by the time that we actually like met and whatever, I figured out what his last name was, and I was able to call her and be like, okay, he's not creepy, right? Like he's okay. And she's like, oh my gosh, yeah, you gotta meet him. So it like made things like speed along a lot faster than it probably did. But I feel like that's like real life. You've got mail.
That's so cute. I love it. I love You've Got Mail too.
It is a good one.
All the cozy vibes. I don't know if The Holiday is necessarily a rom-com now that I just said that, but
Oh, I feel like it is.
It is.
It's a girly movie.
True.
I like it.
I have the funniest story. I have to share this because after you told me this, I thought of it. But
Yeah.
a friend of mine, when she met her significant other, she approached him first and she was like, I feel like I know you from somewhere. And that's like how they started talking. So then
Was it
when
all
they
made
started,
up?
What?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, like so then when they start like they were out at like a fair or something, and she like approached him because she thought he was like attractive and was like, "Do I know you from somewhere?" Or like, I forgot something like that. and then for like the next few first dates they went on, he's like, "Did you figure out how you know me?" It was just like a pickup line.
That is actually really genius, but I will say I one time was approached by a guy at Walmart back when I was like in my young 20s and super cute. And he said that to me. He's like, "Do I know you from somewhere?" And I was like, just naive enough that I was like, I don't know. And then he ended up like literally following me through the whole store, and he followed me out to the parking lot, and I had to get like Walmart employees to walk me to my car, and I was really freaked out.
Oh my God.
So I'm really glad
scary.
your friend wasn't creepy.
No.
But like I hear that line and I'm like, oh gosh, what a creep.
Oh my gosh, so that line would not work on you again.
It wouldn't work on
wrong.
me. I feel like a girl can probably pull that off maybe more than a guy. Like a girl can
That's
probably
true.
be like, are you sure? I love that.
So funny.
Okay, my last question.
I would be like, no.
Right,
Unless
exactly.
you look like, I don't know, Channing Tatum, then no.
Yeah, this guy did not look like Channing Tatum in the slightest. So that's really funny. Chelsea, last question. What have you enjoyed the most about doing this podcast? What's been the best part?
I just love the conversational vibe to it. Like I had a podcast before this by myself and I liked it, but I didn't like, it wasn't like exciting. Like this is my favorite part of my week now. Like where I get to sit down and just like talk about marketing, talk about Instagram, talk about content. Like it couldn't be more fun. So I've had so much fun just in the conversational way that we get to talk about marketing. Cause I think it's different than we obviously teach things, but it's not this like when you teach a training, it feels more like you're like putting on this performance. Like this just feels like a fun conversation and we get to talk about our favorite things while still being, I think, educational, hopefully.
Yeah, for sure. The one thing that I've really enjoyed is when people like tag us, not tag us, tag us.
Tag.
And now you're saying it correctly. But when people tag us and they are like going grocery shopping or heading to a showing or folding laundry at home and listening, because I just know like those comfort podcasts that I listen to where I actually feel like I know the people, I feel like it helps us get to know our community more. Like we're able to actually like put names and faces with who's listening, with who else is out there trying to market their business in this unique way. And it just gives us like more insight as to who all these people are. And it helps us see like what they need to hear, or like they get the opportunity to tell us like, hey, can you do more episodes on this? Or I really like this or whatever. So I think just like getting to see and like hear from people when people DM us and stuff, like just knowing like, okay, like this actually is making an impact. It's not falling on deaf ears. And there's an actual like group of people out there who are thinking like us and who want to do things like this. So I just
it's
really
the
love the
community
people
of it, which is like that makes it all worth it. Like if no one ever talked to us or sent us DMs, I would still have fun. But like that's what makes it all come together and makes it this like warm and fuzzy feeling. Like someone just sent us a message. I actually wrote this down. She said, your podcast has best friend vibes, and I also learn a lot about marketing. I'm like, that's the best thing you could ever say.
The highest compliment, for sure.
And then we were talking to our podcast manager, and we told her that. I think it happened right before our call with her. And she was like, that's like the goal. She's like, that's like what you want. And I'm like, that's so cool.
Yep. Yep. I hope people feel that way. So that being said, please continue to message us and tell us things, like introduce yourself, tell us where you're listening, tell us what you've enjoyed, because the only reason that we're doing this whole podcast is to like serve you and to make it, give you kind of a place that you can go, like a community of people you can turn to that can encourage you in your business and help you reach your goals and all of that. So our DMs are always open, and we do want to hear like if there's episode things or like subjects you want to hear about, whatever, like please tell us.
Or maybe we like touched on something and you're like, please deep dive on that. Like, yes, please let us know. And I love hearing where you're listening from too. Like when you tag us in the stories and I like to see what you're doing when you're listening. So keep doing that, and like sharing about the podcast is so helpful for us. So we really, really appreciate that too.
Yep, 100%. Chelsea, this is another great episode of the Marketing Girls podcast.
I will stick with my line of we will see you next Tuesday.
You didn't want me to take your line? What?
No, not that time.
I'm so glad we got to hang out today. If you're as sad as I am that our time is up, I've got good news. There are a couple of different ways we can keep the conversation going.
First, follow us on Instagram at Modern Agent Marketing Girls and introduce yourself in the DMs. Also, we always have a free Modern Agent resource available, so check out today's show notes for the goods.
And finally, hang out with other go-to real estate girls like you and finally create a marketing plan that works when you join Modern Agent Social Club. All the details are in today's notes.
XOXO, the Marketing Girls.